Welcome, everyone. We are back. This is Healthy by Association. We have a very full lineup for you today. We're going to start with our lead story about work-life balance and kind of doing the impossible, particularly with return to work. Angela will be talking a little bit about self-care. Jim has on deck for us 10 foods to boost your brain power. And our special guest is Amy Brooke, and she's going to be talking about the Healthy by Association accountability program, as well as her personal journey. All of that and more on today's episode. Let's get started.
Welcome to your Healthy by Association weekly wellness check with Aaron Wolowick, Angela Pelk, and Jim Thompson.
Welcome to Healthy by Association. My name is Aaron Wolowick. It is Friday, July 9th, and we are back from the holiday weekend. As we were getting ready today, I just said the longest short week that probably existed this year so far, but we're here with you on a Friday to wind you down, to check in, and to get ready for the weekend ahead. Our special guest this week is Amy Brooke, and we're going to start with Amy first. Amy, would love for you to share with us a little bit more about what you spend your time doing during the day, and really what connects you to our Healthy by Association community.
I am the Director of Member Services for the Michigan Optometric Association. And I joined Healthy by Association when it started. I've been trying to grow myself professionally and personally, of course, trying to be healthy as I've gotten older. Life is harder. It's harder to keep the weight off. It's harder to keep the energy up. So any chance I can get to dive in and find someone to kind of help me, give me tips and tricks and boost any ideas that I can use is really helpful. So I have been on this journey for quite a long time. I'm a wife and a mom of two, plus we have a little fur baby as well. So it's all a big juggle of life, but I'm happy to be on it, and every day is getting better.
Awesome. Well, we're so grateful to have you here with us today. We have had the opportunity to think and brainstorm with you in terms of the accountability program. We've so appreciated you stepping forward to help us think about reigniting that program. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in today's show, but it's been a couple of weeks since we've all checked in. So Angela, I'll start with you. Would love for you to certainly say hi. Let us know what's been going on in your neck of the woods. I know it's been a rough week weather-wise, but also on a scale from 1 to 10, what is your weekly wellness check-in and why?
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Yeah, it seems like it's been a long time since we've checked in. And, I don't know, a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably like a 7. We'll just say 7. I've been walking every day. I actually have logged the highest mileage of walking that I've had in a long time. So that was pretty cool. Now I have 2 walking buddies. And so, if one, says, hey, I can't do it, I just, text up the other one. And so I am getting those steps in. And I'm going to be embarking on a refreshed nutrition and workout plan next week. So I'm really trying not to do the whole, thing where you over splurge and you kind of go crazy and you eat crazy and you stop exercising because I'm going to start Monday. So I'm trying not to do that. So, I have been doing a great job with my water also. So I've been getting that gallon in every day. So I haven't really felt any different. So I don't know if I'm just kind of pretty well hydrated or what, but I'm going to say 7 and I'm hoping next week that I'll be able to tell you I'm closer to a 10.
Awesome. I think that I'm in that 6 to 7 range this week. The holiday weekend was rough for me in terms of we had out of town company, and I didn't put a lot of restrictions on myself, which I think I needed. And so I'm just kind of, we did walk every single day. So it's not like we stopped working out, but in terms of food consumption in particular, there was just a lot more junk in the house than we're typically used to. And I don't know about anyone else, but alcohol and snacks are a bad mix for me. Like as soon as alcohol is present, like the snacks soon follow. So just kind of resituating myself and getting back on track with our 2-a-day walks, and then just kind of being more mindful about the food intake. I don't spend a lot of time drinking when there's not a lot of company, and so it's been easy to sort of reduce alcohol consumption. And I'm getting a massage later today, so doing a little bit of a reset post-holiday. Jim, how about you? What is your check-in this week?
So I would say I'm probably about like Angela, probably about a 7 or so. I've been doing really good with the water intake and doing really good with the meal planning and prepping and all that good stuff. Exercise, been trying to keep up with my walking. It's been kind of rough lately, though. For some reason, it's just been like so hot and humid here in North Carolina. Like, it's just so frustrating to get out because I usually like to try to walk at least during the day at work, and then usually in the afternoon and evening. So I'm kind of having to make up for it, like in the afternoon and evening. It's hard to get in 5 miles after work sometimes. So, but had a good workout on Monday morning with some of my F3 guys. Kind of was able to get back out there again, and then actually did run on Sunday. Ran. Was able to get in about 6 miles on Sunday, so it's been nice to get out and actually like run a little bit further than I've been used to lately. So that was kind of nice. So so things are going good. I would say, like I said, probably about a 7 or so.
Awesome. All right, well, Amy, we'll have you round out the panel and just kind of give us your weekly wellness check-in with on a scale from 1 to 10. Where is your health and wellness journey this week? And maybe tell us why. When we do this, it's without blame, shame, or attack, right? It's just kind of noticing and kind of being aware as we enter the weekend ahead.
Absolutely. I would give myself probably a 7 as well. Diet and nutrition has always been my weak part of my health journey. But I do try really hard to be intentional about everything that I eat. If I crave a snack, it's, trying to be healthy. Alcohol over the summer and during quarantine COVID times has definitely ramped up. So I do try to give myself breaks as much as I possibly can or limit my intake. I just finished with an exercise program last week, so I started a new one this week. So far, it's going well. I took my rest days. Usually those coincide with my husband's days off during the week. So I'm exercising every time I can and trying to get myself into a routine. Kind of difficult when I'm doing a hybrid work schedule, in the office a couple days, at home more of the time. So just trying to carve out that time for myself is my main goal. And so far this week, good. We'll see what the future brings.
Good. Well, and we were so proud of your accomplishment this week, and certainly you had posted, and a few folks had commented. It's always great to sort of see the end of a routine and a program and a series. And what I loved about your post, Amy, was you said, I didn't complete it in the sort of anticipated footprint of time, but that didn't stop you from going forward and just kind of completing each day as you were able to, and then completing the series. And I think that's just a good reminder and lesson to us all that even if it takes longer or, we can't complete everything, just kind of keep plugging along because it all adds up.
Absolutely.
All right, so I want to turn our attention to our sort of lead story for today around work-life balance. It's the article. I'll post the link later in the show notes. My sort of caveat, the asterisk, if you will, here is I would sort of change that balance to blend, a work-life blend. I think, Amy, you said so well. You and a number of us are working a hybrid schedule these days, and it becomes more and more difficult to sort of distinguish between what is work and what is home. And so I just want to share a couple of the tips to our viewers, and as the panel listens to the tips or tricks, I'll just maybe ask what 1 or 2 resonate with you. So let me just get through a couple of these, and then we'll turn it to the panel. In terms of at work, just a couple of the tips and tricks here were to set manageable goals each day. To be efficient with our time, to ask for flexibility when it's needed, to just take a break, maybe take a walk, or just step away from our desk from time to time throughout the day. Listen to your favorite music during the work week, during the workday, communicating effectively, particularly when you're feeling like you're in a bind or can't meet a deadline. And lastly, to give yourself a break when you can, that no one's perfect and that we need to give ourselves some grace. And at home, some of the things that were suggested here were to unplug, to divide and conquer, to not overcommit, to get support and help when needed, to stay active, to treat your body right, and to rely on our networks, our friends and family and colleagues. I just thought so many of these were just good tips and tricks and good reminders. And I'll just say that for me, one of the boundaries that I've set for myself to support my work-life balance or blend is to unplug. This device is never that far away from me. But the one tip or trick that I have sort of relied on over the past several years is that my work email isn't on my phone. And so it's not on my phone during the weekday or the weekends in particular. It's never on my phone. And so I figure if somebody needs me in particular, they can text or call, and I will get to email during the course of the workday. But that I have a hard time sort of unplugging from that and creating balance for myself when I'm always looking at that next email. And sometimes they're not even important. They're spam, or it's something that isn't even something that needs immediate attention. So anyway, that's one of my tips or tricks. I'm going to turn to the panel now for kind of what sort of resonates here in terms of work-life balance or blend, either at work or at home. What do you gravitate to, or what tip or trick kind of stands out to you as most important? So maybe, Jim, I'll come to you first, and I'll just kind of go right around the table.
Sure. I think probably one of the biggest ones to me that kind of resonates, I guess, is that stepping away and taking a break for a little bit. I mean, I think so many times we underestimate the ability to be able to be efficient even while taking breaks. I think sometimes we feel like we just got to sit there and just work for hours and hours on end without stopping just so we can get stuff done. But in reality, I am so much more focused when I just step away for a little bit and just either take a walk or just go outside just for a bit. Don't underestimate that in terms of just taking breaks. And I think at home, I think the big thing for me is just that whole idea of staying active, chatting with friends, getting support. I mean, don't hesitate. Don't live in a vacuum. You have to be able to rely on people around you to support you. So we can't go it alone. It takes a village. So just relying on others, and also, like I said, just getting out and taking the breaks when you can.
Absolutely. Amy, what from this list really stands out to you, and what have you found to be most successful in creating that work-life balance or blend in your life?
So I've read a lot of articles about work-life balance, looking for that magic tip. It's not out there. However, now that I've read so much about it and heard so much about it, I try not to think of it in terms of work and life being separate. And here's why. Because I'm a middle-class working mom. Work is part of my life, but I know when to work during the weekdays when my boss, has said, these are our work hours. That's when you work. So I, like Aaron, I don't have work email on my phone. And I leave work at work, and I try to leave home at home. However, because I know that, I have to work in order to pay the bills for my family and, keep us happy, that it's just a big balancing act. Like I mentioned earlier, juggling. We're all juggling, as we work. And even if we're not working, taking care of our family or our household is also a big balance. So whether you're taking care of your family or your job, being with your friends, home, yard work, it's all a balance, and you just have to find what works for you, and do what you can when you can. I've learned to bury the guilt. I try not to feel guilty about anything I do. I do what I need to get done based upon deadlines and priorities. And then if I can postpone something else, then that's fine. And that's just what I've had to learn to do. And that's what works for me.
Awesome. Angela, I'm sure that this this blend is challenging for you and Scott with the restaurant. I'm curious, what sort of works for you and your family?
It's really hard, I mean, being a business owner, we're sometimes attached to our phones all the time. This week has been particularly challenging because we've had power outages in our community where our restaurant is, and so we're constantly on the phone going, hey, are we on? Are we off? Are we going to be able to open on time? And it's just been kind of crazy. And then like to be responsible for communicating that out in an effective and quick way, and so it's just been kind of nuts. So sometimes it is necessary to have your phone open all the time, even if you are at home. And me being the you know I'm not as affected as he is. It's kind of hard to be like, hey, you're here. Can you just put your phone down and stop checking sales or stop, so that can be a little bit of a challenge, I guess for me. But I think you're right, about being able to separate that and just say like, hey, we're putting it all aside for today. Like Sunday, we got to spend the whole day at the pool, and it was nice that I didn't even have my phone. My phone died, and I just kind of let it go. We were at the pool and we were hanging out and whatever. So I don't know, sometimes things are just hectic and need your attention, and sometimes you can just chill. And I don't know that you can plan that, and I don't know that you can be too rigid about these things. You just kind of have to go with the flow, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's something that we're learning to do, and I struggle with it, but just is
And
what it
be
is.
and be mindful and sort of check in with yourselves and with one another from time to time, because if you're not doing it for yourself, like maybe your spouse or partner can also just kind of say like, hey, it's been a while since you've had a break, like do you need some time, or do you want
Yeah,
to go do something special? Or I think that's also kind of a good opportunity to support one another in that way as well.
sure, for sure.
All right, Amy, I want to come to you. You've been so gracious and kind to sort of step forward and say that you would be willing and interested to lead for a Healthy by Association community and accountability program. And we would just love to hear more about kind of what you have on deck for us and what you're looking for in terms of people signing up.
Absolutely. Just as a little background on my health journey, back in middle school and high school, I was a runner. I did track, I did cross country. I wasn't very good, but I did it to consider myself an athlete, I guess. And then after I graduated, exercise wasn't really a priority for me, so it just went away. Then after I had kids, and as I was getting older and I found it harder to lose weight, keep up my energy, I figured it was time to get back into exercising and taking care of my body. So back in 2016, I started PIO, which is a Beachbody workout. And I do not work for Beachbody. I'm not a coach. I don't have any income from them. What else? But I do really enjoy all of their exercise programs, all the ones that I've done. And I do like the way that their accountability is structured. And so when I started that program, I did have a coach. She was cousin of my best friend, and she had an accountability group. Beachbody has an app, and so everybody is part of this group. You can log your workouts, take a sweaty selfie, share your wins, share your challenges, cheer everybody on. It's just a big, nice place to be able to share and be with like-minded individuals that are focused more than likely on the same things that you are. So then over the years, I've done various programs. I've stuck with Beachbody programs. I've done a few things on the side, but for the most part, I like the calendar of exercises, and something that keeps me on track is my favorite part. So what I've learned most important for me, and sharing, introducing myself to new group members over time, is that I just want to get stronger and be able to keep up with my kids. And that's luckily what I've done. There's not a whole lot of weight I'm going to lose based upon my body, so I'm okay with that. but just being healthy for my family, making sure that they know that I'm here for them and I'm taking care of myself so I can take care of them. But also, it's a little selfish in the fact that I can exercise to have time for myself. It's always good to just get away from everybody. Occasionally, a kid or two will jump in with me, but just to be able to take that time for me and dedicate time for myself, self-care, obviously. So exercise brings me joy. I always like sharing my wins with others, more so to hopefully be inspiring. I send Snapchats of my sweaty selfies after every workout. Whether or not people want them, they see them. And I'll post things on Instagram and Facebook just to show people that I'm still here, I'm still plugging away, and that it's okay, if you're not checking in daily, but you're also not alone. So building that community to help not only keep me accountable, but help others be accountable has been my main priority. I love helping other people, which is why I'm in association work as well. But just that sense of sharing my accomplishments and being able to cheer on others who have similar accomplishments is my favorite thing. So while I've always been a cheerleader, had cheerleaders with me, I've never been in that coaching seat. Honestly, I didn't want the pressure. So when I saw this opportunity for HBA's accountability program, I thought this is perfect because it's a fun way for me to be able to help others like I'm already doing. And so here I am. I don't want to leave out Kim Lawyer. She's also heading this with me. She just had a baby, so she's taking care of her family right now. But she and I are strategizing behind the scenes. We want this accountability program to move forward as it's built by the participants. So there's a Google form that folks can fill out. And if you're interested, you can fill out as much information as you want to, just to let us gather the information to help you move forward and figure out the best fit for you in an accountability group. Whether it's a group text, whether we have to create another Facebook group. Maybe there's an app out there that we haven't found yet that everyone can join, log their workouts, be a cheerleader, give tough love if that's what you need. Sometimes I need to have that guilt put on me. Amy, are you working out this week? Are you going to just eat chocolate every day? Maybe. But at least I have other people looking out for me, and I can do the same as well as everyone else. So I do have to give a shout out to Nicole, Aaron, and Melissa. They're my biggest cheerleaders, and I for them. Having that group that you can rely on, it really makes a difference. And that's what I want to be able to spread to everyone else. So I'll encourage everyone to head over to the Healthy by Association Facebook group, fill out that Google form, and we will do our best to get you in a group with like-minded individuals to get where you need to go, reach your goals, and have those cheerleaders cheering you on.
And really, we're talking anything from food to movement to water intake to whatever. It could be anything that folks want to focus on. So don't feel pigeonholed into one specific area or category. And again, I know we've gotten some questions around like, what can I expect? And I think Amy, you and Kim are being mindful and intentional about creating an experience that the group needs. And so we've provided ideas about what they can expect, but not necessarily every last detail because we want to leave it open to make sure it meets everyone's needs. So again, we'll post that in the show notes, and certainly you can reach Amy through the Facebook group if you're interested in learning more. We're trying to gather a group of 10 to 12 individuals before we sort of launch. So we have a good sized group to move forward and along. So with that, I know our time is winding down for today, but Jim, I didn't want to leave out our conversation around foods to boost your brain power. I feel like I need a lot of that these days, and certainly in recovery from the 4th of July weekend and some of, man, we had chips, we had Ruffles in the house, and I haven't had Ruffles in the house in like a year.
No.
And it was delicious, but also it wreaked havoc, I think, on my insides. Tell us a little bit more about these foods to boost your brain power.
Sure, sure. So, you know, a lot of people like when you think about nutrition, you think about eating, we're always thinking about, you know, what it's like to our waistline or whatever the case is, or heart health or whatever. But in reality, you know, there's obviously some foods out there that can help boost your brain power too. So, well, you know, just whether it's your cognitive health, your mood, you know, all those different things. So, and one of the things that I kind of want to parlay this a little bit too is that there's some great foods on here that you can also be thinking about when you're traveling as we start moving back into the meetings business and getting out and about more often. You know, some of these foods are things that you can be thinking about, you know, when you're on the road, making some good choices about as well. So the first one is just whole grains. Obviously, just, you know, making sure you're thinking about, you know, just whole grain cereals, breads, pastas, things like that. Oily fish, you know, those are obviously some big things that are important, you know, like salmon, trout, stuff like that. You can also, you know, even if you're somebody who's like either a vegetarian or vegan or just don't like fish, those omega-3 fatty acids, which is important for the brain health, those can also be found in things like pumpkin seeds, walnuts, you know, flaxseed, and other things like that. So it's not just from fish that you can get these fats from. But that leads me into the other thing. Nuts of any sort are usually really good for brain power. Blueberries, broccoli, those are two other kind of key kind of fruits and vegetables that you can be focusing on, as well as eggs, pumpkin seeds. I mentioned that earlier. Those are obviously a great snack that you can take with you when you're traveling. So those are just kind of a few of the different foods that we'll have information in the show notes that talks about the top 10 things, and it's a little more detail about each one of those. But in the interest of time, I just wanted to share with those few because there's some really good things that you can not only use when you're eating at home, but also when you're traveling as well. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jim, and certainly thanks Amy and Angela as well for joining us this week. That is our 30 minutes, and this has been Healthy by Association. We'll join you next week with another episode, but until then, please remember to power your life with health, wellness, and intention. See you next week, everyone.